About this comes as top Republicans consider this vote to delay the mandate for individuals as well. They're saying if businesses get it, why shouldn't individuals get it as well? They don't want the president to pick and choose parts of this law to enforce.
Today we sent a letter to the president asking him to justify delaying the employer mandate while leaving in place the mandate on individuals and families. Because if businesses can get relief from Obamacare, the rest of America ought to be able to get relief as well. The president's decision to use the honor system to hand out subsidies, I think, exposes taxpayers to massive fraud and abuse. This is our job on behalf of the American people, is to protect and to spend their tax money wisely. Having these subsidies without any verification is going to just open the system up to all kinds of corruptions. We need to protect the American people from this law permanently.
We strongly agree that this bill can't be implemented this time, but I think we have an even stronger disagreement with this president that a time delay is going to fix the fundamental flaws in this bill. We're for a permanent delay of this bill. But as the president took this action and the unfairness that it dealt to the American people, the House will respond this month to correct that injustice.
Here now, Alan Colmes, host of The Alan Colmes Show and a Fox News contributor, and Rich Lowry, editor of the National Review and a Fox News contributor. Boy, this is, I think people on both sides at this point, and Alan, you can weigh in here, I think this is a mess.
Certainly, it's very complicated. It's a complicated law, which is why many of the people who oppose the law actually oppose it from the left, would like a simpler, more progressive law, or even single payer, which is where I stand on it, because it's a very complicated law, and it was not sold well to the American people. I think so many people are confused about what happens, when it happens, how it might affect them. But it's a very shrewd move by John Boehner, quite frankly, because he's trying to put Democrats in a box. It could backfire on him, though. They've tried 37 times to overturn this law. They don't have anything really to replace it with. I'd like to know what the positive message is on the other side. That's
a really interesting point on the politics of this, Rich, because as you get closer to 2014, if you're a voter in a tight district and you look at your Democratic candidate and say, look, well, if the employer down the street doesn't have to do this, why do I have to do it? And that Democratic candidate's going to have to look that person in the face and say, well, you should, and that may not go over too well, right?
Yeah, I think this delay, Martha, is just a huge concession on the part of the White House. One, because the message prior to this is, look, this law is a steamroller. It's inevitable, resistance is futile, and you're crazy and out of touch if you want to delay any part of it or repeal it. Now you have the administration itself saying a key part of it has to be delayed because the implementation is such a disaster. So that opens it up in a whole bunch of ways. And then I think it's very shrewd, I agree with Alan, for John Boehner and the House Republicans to go to this message. If employers aren't going to be fined in 2014, why are you going to put that burden on individuals? Why are you going to fine individuals? And I think it puts Democrats in a very tough spot. Because, one, are they going to vote for the employer mandate, not delaying it, when even the administration admits it's not ready for prime time? And how are they going to explain how they want to impose this burden on individuals?
You've got a situation, Alan, where I think the latest number that I saw, 53% are not happy with the law. They want it changed. So I wonder, if you're a Democratic candidate, are there any Democrats out there who are going to campaign on steamrolling this through, on pushing this through and saying, you know what, I stand by it 100%. We got to do this. It's
already been passed and certified in terms of being legal by the Supreme Court. But
Except for some parts, according to the president.
Well, here's how it could backfire on John Boehner, because if indeed he gets what he wants, those people who are healthy would not have much of an incentive to register for the law. And those people
who
don't
have much of an incentive to register anyway, do they?
But the people who are not healthy would probably have higher premiums. So it could result in getting higher premiums for a large portion of the public, which could hurt politically Republicans and Boehner in the long term.
Why doesn't?
I think they'll just turn around and say this is another ill effect of this law. We're experiencing these premium shocks. We see them coming down the pipe where younger and healthier people are going to have to pay more for their insurance. And the basic structure of this thing, how it works, it makes insurance more expensive, so it makes it a product a lot of people won't want to have, and then it has to force them to buy it. That makes no sense.
And who does that hurt the most, Alan? The middle class. It doesn't hurt rich people. It hurts the middle class, healthy folks who are going to have to pay up.
Actually, it hurts people who are not well and need to go to doctors and will have higher premiums because of that. This is what Mitt Romney did in Massachusetts, by the way, which everybody pays into the system, and thus most people wind up paying less in the long term. This is what Mitt Romney decided not to run on, but it worked in Massachusetts, so why wouldn't it work?
Mitt Romney's not president, and maybe that's part of the reason why.
It could be.
The Massachusetts
but, it doesn't help us right now.
The Massachusetts law has had a huge number of problems. There's a much easier way to do this, and Tom Price in the House, a Republican, has talked about this. If you equalize the tax treatment of getting your insurance through the employer and getting it on your own, you can make it easier for people to get coverage in an affordable way. And that's what you want to do. This law is just a disaster. We already see it's not working well, and it's only going to get worse over time.
All right. Alan, Rich, great conversation. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you
Thanks
later.
very much.